How many geometrical plus optical isomers are possible for this molecule? Let us see that. Right. So, yeah, you can start voting. We will discuss this and it will also revise our previous class. Vinayak, I think you should reconsider your answer. Don't guess, guys. Don't guess. Good, Chetna. Very good. Hari Prakash, how did you get the answer, man? Hari Prakash, how did you get the answer? This is not supposed to be answered by you. Yes, Pritish, check again. Kishore and Pritish. Bhattavraj is right. Johnston is right. Namrata, beta, check again. Ankita is right. Rest, all of you are right. Very good. Chalo. So, guys, I will give you another, let's say, 10 seconds for this. Another 10 seconds for this. You have another 10 seconds to vote this out. If you have got the answer, please vote fast. All right. Very good, PK. Vaibhav, very good. Monisha, right, beta. Sanjana, check again. Priyadarshini, you also. Chalo, let me end this on account of 3, 2, 1, now. Very good, Aishwarya. So I am ending it now. Yes. Very good. So you can see most of you have answered B. Some of you have answered C and D also. There is no one who has answered A. That's good. So let us discuss this. Right. So our same old method. Arrange the ligands in a pair of 3. So a pair of 2. So I will arrange AA, AB, BC. These are my pairs. Correct? Now keeping AA constant, you interchange A with C and B with B. So what do you get? You get AC and AB. Right? Then keeping AA constant, you interchange A with B and B with C. You'll get same molecule. Okay? You'll get same thing. Now what else you can do? Keep AB constant, interchange A with B, you'll get AB. Interchange A with C, you'll get AC. So you'll get AB, AB, AC. So keeping AB constant, let us draw it. Keeping AB constant, we will get AB and AC. AB and AC, which is a different isomer. Now keeping BC constant, or other possibility is keeping AB constant, change A with C, change A with B. You'll get same thing. Keeping BC constant, A with A, A with B. You'll get AA and AB, same molecule. Okay? So basically you are going to get only these 3 molecules. So there are 3 geometrical isomers possible for this. Please let me know if there is any one which I have missed. Okay? So there is only one isomer possible for this. These three geometrical isomers possible for this. Khushi, what is BB? Why should I take BB, Khushi? We don't need BB, no? If I take BB, I will get AA and AC. AA and AC. Second one is BB. Just a minute, let me check. If I have interchanged A with B, I get AB, B with C, I'll get BC. Same, this one. But if I interchange A with C and B with B, BB. Yes, got it. Got it, guys. Got it. So one of these is BB and AC. This one is BB. This one is BB, right? So that's all. Yeah, got it. So is it fine now? Second you took 4a. Yes, I understood. So this is 3 geometrical isomer possible now. Now draw all 3 of them and check plane of symmetry. I'll tell you, Adesh was talking about one trick. I will tell you that trick also, Adesh ka trick. Though I told it is a summary of what we are doing. AA trans, AB trans, BC trans. This is one. Then the second isomer is AA trans, AC trans, BB trans. Third one is AB trans, AB trans, and AC trans. Correct? These are the 3 GIs. Now check, does all of them have plane of symmetry? Does this molecule have plane of symmetry? Does this molecule have plane of symmetry? It has, yes, it has horizontal plane of symmetry. Top A, bottom A. So it has horizontal POS, so optically inactive. This also has horizontal POS, AA. So it has horizontal POS, so it is also optically inactive. What about third one? Does it have plane of symmetry? Yes, Chetnan, correct. What about this one? Does it have a plane of symmetry? It does not have horizontal, A and B. Definitely it does not have horizontal. Does it have plane of symmetry? Check carefully, guys. Check carefully if it has a plane of symmetry or not. Check carefully if it has any plane of symmetry or not. Yes. Yes. So is there any plane of symmetry possible in this? Let us check. Horizontal. AB. Not possible. Right? AB. Not possible. Check the vertical one. Have we drawn it correctly? AB opposite, AC opposite. Correct. We have drawn it from AB constant. A goes with B, A goes with C. Correct. So then there is no horizontal plane of symmetry. Then you check the vertical one. You have AB and AC, again not same. This AA, BC, again not same. Right? And then check this one. Diagonal, not present. Check this one. Again diagonal, not present. Right? So this seems like having no plane of symmetry. We still should check it. Yes, I understand. There is no plane of symmetry. B and C should be interchanged. Why, Adesh, B and C should be interchanged? I have drawn it correctly, right? AB, AB, AC. It is correct only, Adesh. What's the problem in this, Adesh? Acha. Just a minute, guys. There will be a plane of symmetry in this. Just a minute. There will be a symmetry in this. 1 minute. Yes, there will be a plane of symmetry. The only thing is, we have to draw it in a different way. This transpositions, we have to draw it in a different way. let me draw it like this. If I draw A B trans, AB trans and AC trans, or AC you can write anyway. So AB trans, AC trans. Now you will get a vertical plane of symmetry in this. Now you will get a vertical plane of symmetry in this. You will get a vertical plane of symmetry in this. AB, AB. So this molecule will have vertical POS. This molecule will have vertical POS. Right? This molecule will have vertical POS. Okay? So basically it also depends upon how you draw it. Again, it also depends upon how you draw it. Now, this molecule do not contain any optical isomer. It is also optically inactive. So total stereoisomers become 3 plus 0. That is 3. So correct answer comes out to be B. Right? Now, I will tell you one important thing here. You can also answer it directly from here, but I will never suggest you to use it. But I will tell you that trick also. I guess Ravi Kiran is saying that same thing. If you get AA anywhere, if you get AA, you get BB, you get CC. So for example here, it will always be optically inactive. This is also optically inactive. So if you get any pair where AA, BB or CC is present, it is always going to have plane of symmetry. It will be optically inactive. And if your AB is repeated 2 times or BC is repeated 2 times, then that will also be optically inactive. Okay? So for example, in this AA is there, it is optically inactive. AA is there, optically inactive. In this AB is repeated 2 times, this will also be optically inactive. So this is also a trick you can use, but I will not recommend you to use that, because the moment you get a bigger molecule, your trick fails. Your trick will not support you in the bigger molecules. Okay? So this is what you need to keep in mind. If you keep, I have told you the trick, but I will recommend you to use it only in this monodentate ligand, not in bidentate and all. So if AA, BB or CC comes, that molecule will be inactive. AB comes 2 times or BC comes 2 times or AC comes 2 times, then that molecule will also be optically inactive. To be honest, this is our case 1, 4 and 5 plane of symmetry wala, and this represents our case 2 and 3. So both are same thing. Okay? Vertical and horizontal both needs 2 pairs to come. Correct? Exactly, go. So this is how you can use this to find total optical isomers. Right? Any doubt in this, anyone? Yes. Any doubt in this, anyone? Please check this carefully. If there is any doubt in this, please ask quickly. So you can definitely apply plane of symmetry and check. Then you can also use this trick to find it, but use the trick only for monodentate ligand. Do not use it for bidentate ligand and all. Okay? It's not going to be very useful there. Okay? How to understand which structure is correct? Athar, that structure was also correct. There was something wrong in that structure also. So isomerism means if a molecule you are drawing multiple structures, any structure it should not have plane of symmetry. That will be optically active. That is the definition. Molecule should not have plane of symmetry in any structure. Then you say that molecule is optically active. What about another structure? What was the other structure we had drawn? It should also have plane of symmetry, man. Somewhere we are missing that plane of symmetry. What was the structure we had drawn? I think we had drawn something like this. B here, B here, C here. Correct? We had drawn something like this. So it should also have some plane of symmetry, some sort. We need to figure it out which plane of symmetry it has. I will check this one, guys. See how it does not have plane of symmetry. Okay? I will check this one. AB, AB trans, AC trans. Yes. Correct. I'll check this one. See how we can get it. Okay? In this structure, how to get plane of symmetry, I'll check. In this case, also write B in place of C, will get plane of symmetry. Write B in place of C. Yes, that too we know, of course. If you interchange these two, keep C here, B here. Keep C here, B here. Then are you going to get? Then also you will not get. But if you interchange, let us say B and C here, then you will get. Yes. If you interchange it like this, then you will get vertical plane of symmetry. Right? I understood. So basically, why not in other structures? I will check that one. See how it is possible. Okay? All right. So this is what you need to do. Right? Be careful about trick. So Adesh, Ravi, Kiran, do not get reliable only on this trick. I am telling you, use this plane of symmetry method. For bigger molecules, you will be stuck. Okay? So please keep this in your mind, both of you. So this is Pritish. Then it is previous one only. Exactly, Pritish. Atharv, this is not vertical plane of symmetry. Just a minute. Just a minute. Atharv, this is a vertical plane of symmetry, no? AB, 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 AB. Vertical plane of symmetry. Chalo. Let's take some examples which were left last class. We'll first take them. Bidentate ligand ke some examples are left. We'll discuss them first. Then we'll move towards our next topic. Yes. So if you talk about in bidentate ligand, see, this is of the type MAA whole thrice. Right? Do you remember? Does it show GI? Does it show geometrical isomer? Bidentate ligand? No, it does not show geometrical isomer because all ligands were same. Right? But it will show optical isomers. Now see why it shows optical isomer. Example is COEN whole thrice 3+. If I draw this, you should know what is EN. EN is CH2, CH2, NH2, NH2. Lone pair, lone pair. This is your EN. So if you take this and draw CH2, CH2, NH2. This is your one ligand, CH2. This is N. This is N. CH2, CH2. This is one bridge. N, N, CH2, CH2. Another bridge. N, N. CH2, CH2. Third bridge. There are three bridges basically. Right? 1, 2, 3. So what happens here is, any of these two lie in same plane. But this lies in different planes. I'll tell you how to assume this. This is very important one. Dekho. This is your square. On the top, on the bottom, you have the ligands. Correct? So if you have something like this, let us say you have something like this. Right? Let us say you have something like this. So one bridge is between this and this. So one bridge is going like this. Other bridge is between this and bottom. So other bridge is going like this. From here to here. And first bridge is from here to here. Now the third bridge is this one. From here to here. Correct? So there are three bridges. So the first bridge is from top to this. Second bridge ligand is from, second ring is from this vertical down to here. Right? So one ring like this, one ring like this, and one ring is like this, lying in this square plane. Correct? Lying in this square plane. So this ring and this ring are lying in this vertical plane. But what about this ring? The ring connecting these two positions of octahedral is lying in the horizontal plane. Correct? So are all these three rings lying in the same plane? Are all these three rings lying in the same plane? No, definitely no. So one ring from the top to this side is like this. Assume it like bangles. One bangle like this, then one bangle like this, and then one bangle is in the plane. Right? So this is in the plane, this is out of the plane, this is also out of the plane. So how many of them are lying in the same plane? How many of the rings are lying in the same plane? 2. That's what I have written. 2 of these rings will lie in same plane. This will lie in different planes. So if all the rings are not lying in same plane, will they have plane of symmetry? Yes? Yes, broken tennis ball also you can consider. Will they have plane of symmetry? Will they have plane of symmetry? Very good, Athar, Sanjana. No. Abhishek, they will not have plane of symmetry. So there is no plane of symmetry. It's a very big molecule. So all atoms cannot lie in same plane, right? So since it is not lying in the same plane, there is no plane of symmetry, therefore it is optically active. Okay? Now, if this is dextrorotatory, it will have its mirror image, which will be just draw the mirror image of these two. These two are on the right, 2 rings on the right will become 2 rings on the left, 1 ring on the left will become 1 ring on the right. So what do you observe here? What do you observe here? These two are mirror image. So if this is dextrorotatory, this is levorotatory. So you will say it do not show geometrical isomerism, but it shows optical isomerism. Because all atoms do not lie in the same plane. All rings do not lie in the same plane. Right? Will they remain on same plane? No. Why will they remain on same plane, Pranav? Just now we discussed, no. There is one ring like this. Other ring is like this. So these 2 rings are lying in the vertical plane. Then the third ring is lying within the horizontal plane. Right? So how the 3 rings are in the same plane? They are not in the same plane. So obviously we are saying there is no plane of symmetry. Is that clear, everyone? Yes. Is that clear, everyone? Yes, everyone. Is that clear? Very good. Now optical isomers of this molecule. 1 bridge ligand. We have taken 2 bridge ligands and 2 non-bridging ligands. So let us take the example of this. Let us take the example which we have done here, PTEN2, ethylene diamine 2, Cl2, right, and 2+. So this is our molecule. So first of all tell me, will it show GI? We have already discussed this, don't disappoint me on this. Will it show GI, yes or no? Will it show GI? We have already discussed this. Very good, Monisha. It will show GI. It will show GI. Let us see how. If I take platinum, first I will draw the octahedral. Let me first draw the octahedral. So the first octahedral which I draw here is this, right? So ethylene diamine, let me draw NN CH2 CH2. If you want to draw pura molecule, NH2, 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 CH2, CH2, right? Both the Cl are kept 180 degree to each other. So this is a trans molecule. The other possibility is, this is platinum. You keep both the Cl 90 degree to each other. And the other positions are occupied by ethylene diamine, NH2, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2, right? So this is your another molecule. Now check whether they have plane of symmetry or not. The first molecule, does it have plane of symmetry? Trans 1, does it have plane of symmetry? Yes or no? Yes, very good, Gauri. Because these 2 rings will lie in the same plane. They are lying in the same plane of the square. So if this is your square, if this is your square, this is your square, NN. So this is ring lying like this in the plane of the square. And this is ring lying like this in the plane of the square. 1 Cl up, 1 Cl down. So since both the rings are like this, you can see this is one ring, this is another ring like this, correct? So both the rings are lying in the same plane. If you bisect it like this, so Cl on the top, Cl on the bottom, it will have horizontal plane of symmetry. It will have horizontal plane of symmetry. Right? It will have horizontal plane of symmetry. Now, if it has a horizontal plane of symmetry, it is optically inactive. The second molecule, does it have plane of symmetry? Now, this depends totally on your logical thinking. Sanjana, check again. Very good, Hari Prakash. Sanjana, check again. Very good, Ruchi, Bhumika, Athar. Vijay Kumar, Ankita, please check again. Does it have plane of symmetry? Uday, you also. Guys, be careful while checking this. This requires three-dimensional thinking. This requires three-dimensional thinking. I'll show it now. So I am telling this do not contain plane of symmetry. No plane of symmetry. Can anybody tell me why? Very good, Basavraj. It does not contain plane of symmetry. It is optically active. Why it does not contain? Very good. Now, Sanjana, you have changed your answer. Right. So, dekho. One Cl is here on the top. One Cl is here. Correct? So, one Cl here on the top and one Cl here. Now, one ring is like this. See, this is the bottom. So, one ring is lying in this vertical plane. So, one ring is lying in this vertical plane. Just a minute, guys. Yes. So, one ring is lying in this vertical plane and other ring is lying in this horizontal plane like this. Correct? So, one ring is horizontal and other ring is like this, vertical. So, are both the rings, this is horizontal ring of the ligand, ethylene diamine, and this is horizontal ring, vertical ring. So, are these two rings lying in the same plane? Are these two rings lying in the same plane? No, these two rings are not lying in the same plane. So, I can quickly say this does not contain plane of symmetry and it is optically active. So, total stereoisomers will be 2 GI, 1 optical isomer. So, total 3 isomers. Total 3. Is that clear, everyone? First one has vertical POS also. Yes, Prashant, you can say that. First one has vertical POS also. This part and this part is same. Yes, Prashant, you can say that. Yes, so I hope this geometrical isomer, optical isomer, you will not face difficulties in this. The idea is not doing many molecules. The table I have given you, you can practice all of them. The idea is not doing many molecules. The idea is understanding how to solve any molecule. So that exam you can get any molecule. It's not necessary whatever you are solving will only come in exam. So any molecule which comes in exam, you should be able to solve. One more thing, we have practiced MA2, B2, C2 in this language. Exam may it will come in this language. So you should be able to identify it as MAA whole twice, B2 type. You should be able to identify that. Okay? Optical isomers are one, Venkatesh, one optical isomer, that is the mirror image of this. The mirror image of this will be considered as the optical isomer, Venkatesh. Platinum, mirror image will be Cl here and Cl here, then 2 bridge linkets here. This will be the mirror image of that, Venkatesh. Okay? Chalo, that's all I wanted to discuss about isomerism. If there is any doubt, you can definitely revert and ask me on WhatsApp also. Now, one more announcement which I want to make before I start crystal field theory. Yeah. One more announcement I want to make. If in the past 15 or 20 days span of time, if you have messaged me any doubt on WhatsApp and if I have not been able to reply, please resend it. Right? It might happen that due to lot of message, I might have missed it. So please resend it. So Prashant want to see that slide again. Just a minute, Prashant. Let me come back. This was the slide, Prashant. This was the first slide, Prashant. Yes, Prashant. Is it clear now? Is it in NCERT? Yes, I think these examples are there in NCERT also. Chalo. Let's move ahead and take our next topic, that is crystal field theory. So remember this, we'll discuss this again. This is very important and very interesting one. I don't know how many of you got it. but it's a very interesting one. It represents your spectrochemical series. We have discussed it in VBT, spectrochemical series. It's a good representation of spectrochemical series. Chalo. Yeah. So guys, we are starting with crystal field theory. What all we will discuss in this, let me tell you. We'll discuss postulates or assumptions of CFT in short. Then we'll see crystal field splitting in octahedral complex. Right? We'll see how to find crystal field stabilized energy. We'll see crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complex. This is the 4 main things which we have to study in this. Right? So now let me take the first thing, that is postulates of crystal field theory. I have kept all the postulates here, right? I will read it out here, then I will explain it again. Now, can anybody tell me what was happening in VBT? It is very good to compare these two theories. What was happening in VBT? Can anybody tell me here? How bonding take place in VBT? According to VBT, how bonding take place? One line mein you can summarize it. You can summarize it in one line. You can summarize it in one line. So what we said in VBT was central metal atom, atomic orbitals mixed with each other to form hybrid orbitals. And ligand come and donate their lone pair in these hybrid orbitals to form coordinate bond. And we know coordinate bond is a type of what? Coordinate bond is a type of what? Covalent bond. Very good, Pratish. Coordinate bond is a type of covalent bond. That's the most important thing you should keep in mind. Now, if you remember, VBT talks about the coordinate bond between ligand and central metal atom. But when you come to CFT removes everything which VBT has proved. It says the bond between central metal atom and ligand is completely ionic. It's a U-turn, complete U-turn, 180-degree U-turn. It says metal atom and ligand form ionic bonds. Finished. So whatever you have done so far, it is reverse of it. Okay? So let us see how. So the assumption it says is central metal atom is surrounded by ligand which contain one or more lone pair of electrons. Okay? Central metal atom is surrounded by ligand which contain one or more lone pair of electrons. Then one more thing you can add here, that is central metal atom is assumed to be positive test charge, point charge, whatever you want you can say, positive test charge. That means central metal atom is having a positive charge. Correct? Right? Nothing is wrong with it and everything is updated. Okay? So you can assume central metal atom as a cation. Okay? Now the next thing which it says is the ligands are classified into two categories. The ionic ligands like F minus, Cl minus are regarded as point negative charge. Like this. You assume this is your ligand having negative charge. And neutral ligands, molecules like water, ammonia, are considered as dipoles. For example, water will be considered as dipole in which oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. So oxygen will get partial negative charge, hydrogen will get a partial positive charge. Correct? So let me come again. Metal is surrounded by ligand which have lone pair of electrons. Central metal atom is assumed to be positive charge. Ligands are classified as negative negative point charge. Neutral ligands are considered as dipole, positive pole, negative pole. Okay? Now next, electrons of ligand does not enter the metal d orbital. What does it mean? Electrons are not donated by ligand. Electrons of ligand are not donated to central metal atom, which is reverse of VBT, which says ligand donate lone pair of electrons to metal atom. No coordinate bond, no covalent bond. There is no overlapping takes place. no covalent bond, no overlapping take place. Rather, the bonding between metal and ligand is purely electrostatic or ionic. इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक और आयनिक. तबाही मचा दी इसने. अब तक जो पढ़ा था सब गलत कर दिया. Right? So now metal is assumed to be positive charge. Negatively charged ligand is assumed to be negative charge. So there is no donation of lone pair of electron. Positive and negative charge will attract each other to form a ionic bond. This is what it says. And neutral molecule, may there is a dipole, negative, positive. Again, negative end of the dipole will be attracted by metal atom to form a ionic bond. This is what it means. ठीक है? So इसने सभी कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड को आयनिक बॉन्ड प्रूव कर दिया. It has proved all the covalent bonds are ionic. Is that clear? Mahavir, which slide are you asking about? Mahavir, which slide are you asking about? This is our first slide in this. Nothing is proved. Assumptions, guys. Assumptions. Keyword. Assumption. मान लिया गया. मान लिया गया. ठीक है? Why did they change? Because, very good question, Pritesh. There were certain limitations of VBT. I will tell you. I will tell you certain limitations about VBT first. Just let me give you some limitations about VBT. Limitations of VBT. So VBT was not able to explain the structure of this molecule, copper tetramine 2+, right? So why it is DsP2 or sp2d, this was not explained by VBT. Then according to VBT, when you calculate magnetic moment, some complex magnetic moments were wrong. Magnetic moments were coming out to be different for some complex. Were different for some complex. Then the other thing which it was not able to prove was color of the complex was not explained. Color of complex or coordination compound was not explained. So these were main limitations of VBT. So to explain this, we came up with this theory called CFT. Okay? I have given this limitations of VBT also in the last class, but just to summarize, I have kept it here. Okay? So any doubt in any of these assumptions? Anyone? Any doubt in these assumptions? I'm moving ahead with my very important topic of today. Dekho, this is diamond. It is, if there is anything which is precious than diamond in this world, it is precious than that. It is very important theory. I'm telling you. You will keep your head on your hand either on your head or on your heart, and you'll keep looking like this. This is that important. Okay? Yes, Prashant, this is your limitation slide. This is your limitation slide. Whoever wants to take screenshot can take it. I hope it is done. ठीक है? वैसे ये जो molecule है, this is a big controversy among the people. For your level, you will find most of the books writing DsP2, but its actual answer is sp2d. How? I will explain it in some of the advanced class, but most of the coaching also explain it wrong. They also explain it DsP2, but its reality it is sp2d. Now, yes, Pritesh, it is same question which you asked me. Now, this is, it was exception. Yes, Basavraj. Basically, experimentally proved. Now, this is your assumptions. I hope you have taken the screenshot of this also. Let me move ahead. Yes. So, let's move ahead. So, whatever we have said in words, we are explaining here. Ligand, your ligand and your metal के बीच में there is a ionic bond. Electrostatic model. Now, understand this carefully. Metal is considered positive charge, ligands can be negative point charge or they can be dipole, right? So between negative end of the dipole and metal atom, there is a force of attraction, that is ionic bond. Or if your ligand is negatively charged, then also there is an ionic bond to form a ionic bond. Then also this force of attraction leads to ionic bond. So basically in short, there is an ionic bond. Okay? In short. Now, This is very important. There are following types of interactions which exist. Please keep this in mind. These are the two types of interaction which exist. Electrostatic attraction due to positively charged metal atom and negatively charged ligand. Due to positively charged metal and negatively charged ligand. So this is the force of attraction which exists. The second interaction is electrostatic repulsion between electron present in metal and ligand. So metal ka electron and ligand ka electron, when they come close to each other, will also repel each other. Okay? So metal electrons and ligand electrons, when they come close to each other, they will repel each other. So these two forces will overall define the stability of bond. If this is stronger than this, then your bond is stable. If repulsions are more than attraction, then your bond is not stable. It is in short meaning this. Okay? So considering these two forces, we define our ionic bond, right? Yes, this is the previous slide, guys. Those who wanted to take screenshots, I hope you have taken it, right? This is your current slide. Now we are moving ahead. I hope you have taken the screenshot here also. Now we are coming to octahedral field splitting. I am going towards octahedral field splitting. This is very important for your boards also. It is important, definitely important for JEE and NEET. There is no doubt about it. CET also. Famous topic, very popular topic. Okay? What was written down in the previous slide? Due to ligand field energy of d orbital is increased. We'll come to this. Give me time, Ravi Kiran. I will explain this in splitting. Okay? Now, I am going to discuss some shapes of d orbitals, which we have done in structure of atom also, because I am going to need this in the coming topic. So we know there are 5 types of d orbital: dx square minus y square, dz square, dxy, dyz, and dzx. These are the 5 d orbitals. So what is the difference? See carefully. I am going to write it here parallelly. The lobes means electrons. The lobes of the dx square minus y square orbital is lying along y-axis and lying along x-axis. So you can say lobes or electron density. Lobes lie along x and y-axis. Okay? Electron density is either along x-axis or along y-axis. Okay? And in dz square orbital, all the electron density is oriented along z-axis. You can see. So you can see lobes or electron density. I am saying lobes or electron density is along z-axis. This is very important. Okay? Keep this thing in mind. Lobes are along the axis. Now, I hope you have taken this screenshot. Let me move ahead. Now, you should also know dz square is also written as a combination of dy square minus z square plus dz square minus x square. It is a combination of these two. Okay? Now, let us move ahead with these orbitals. So, what do you see in this orbital? Where are the lobes lying? Where are the lobes lying? This is yz, y-axis, z-axis. The lobes are lying where? Yes? What do you see? The lobes are lying where? Very good, Pritish. So this is your y-axis, this is your z-axis. The lobes are lying in between the axis. The lobes are lying in between the axis. Okay? Same thing here also. This is your y-axis, this is your z-axis. The lobes are lying in between the axis. Okay? Same thing here. This is your y-axis, this is your z-axis. Lobes are lying between y and z-axis. Correct? So I can write for all these 3 orbitals, lobes, all these 3 orbitals, lobes are between the axis. That means all the electron density are between the axis. Right? Please take a screenshot. I am moving ahead to the splitting diagram. I am moving ahead to the splitting diagram. I hope you have taken the screenshot here. All right. So let us move ahead. Yes, Chandan, you are right. This is YZ plane. Let's take this thing now very seriously. So see this carefully. What happens in octahedral complex? So see this. electrostatic repulsion due to electron present in metal d orbitals and electrons of ligand, right? So in octahedral, this is the most important point. Keep this in mind. In octahedral complexes, ligands approach metal through the axis. What does that mean? If this is your 3 axis, where are the ligands going to come? There are 6 ligands. There are 6 ligands. You assume your metal is in the center. So this is minus y-axis, minus z-axis, minus x-axis. So one ligand will come along y-axis, one ligand will come along minus y-axis, z-axis, minus z-axis, x, minus x. That means 6 ligands comes along, 6 ligands comes along, 6 ligands comes along. Just a minute, guys. Yes. So what do we observe here is 6 ligands are coming along 6 axes. What are those 6 axes? Plus x, minus x, plus y, minus y, plus z, minus z. These are the 6 axes we are considering, right? So if you consider that 6 ligands are coming, just a minute, students. Yes. So ligands are coming along axis. This is very important. So what does it happen then? So we are saying ligands are coming along axis and ligands contain electrons. Metal d orbital also contain electrons. So ligand electron and metal electron experience repulsion. Correct? So we are saying 2 things here. What we are saying? We are first of all saying metal has 5 d orbitals which contain electrons. And ligands are also bringing electrons, but ligands are bringing electrons along which direction? Along the axis. Correct? So can you tell me which d orbital electrons will get more repulsion? Which d orbital electrons will get more repulsion? dx square minus y square dz square or dxy dyz dzx? Which will face more repulsion? Very good, Pritish and Atharv. So what we are trying to say here is, since these ligands are coming along the axis and metal ke these 2 orbitals also have electrons along the axis. Correct? So they have electrons along y-axis and x-axis, and ligands are also coming along the axis. Correct? So these 2 orbitals will face more repulsion. These 2 orbitals will face more repulsion because their electrons are lying along the axis and ligands are also coming along the axis. Correct? But dxy, dyz and dzx lobes are between the axis. Therefore they face what? They face less repulsion. Now due to repulsion, energy of the system increases or decreases? This is very important concept. Please keep in mind. If the repulsion increases, energy of the molecule will increase. Why? Because attraction brings stability, so it decreases the energy. Repulsion brings instability. Due to repulsion, molecule becomes unstable, so its energy will increase. That is very important point. So therefore we can say they face less repulsion. So these 3 orbitals will have lower energy, and the 2 orbitals which face more repulsion will have higher energy. Is that clear, everyone? This is very, very important concept. Yes, is that clear, everyone? So 3 orbitals whose lobes are in between the axis will face less repulsion, their energy will be lying low, and 2 orbitals whose lobes are along the axis will face more repulsion and their energy will be increased. Right? Alright. So now this is what we have said here also. Now this is what happens. See, this is called crystal field diagram. Understand this? This is superb. See this carefully. So these were your degenerate d orbitals. When no ligand was present, all these 5 orbitals were having same energy. Degenerate d orbitals. I think I have taught you this in D and S block also. These were degenerate orbitals. Okay? So metal without ligand have all 5d orbitals same energy. When ligand comes, they bring electrons. So electrons of metal and electrons of ligand start repelling. So due to repulsion, energy increases. So the energy in the presence of ligand will increase. So this is degenerate d orbitals without free metal atom. This is degenerate d orbitals. Degenerate d orbitals with ligand. They are with ligand. Correct? They are with ligand. Now, you should say, sir, why splitting is not happening? So I'll tell you. Metal d orbitals, all 5 or metal d orbitals, all 5d orbitals have same energy. Ligand is coming. So metal has got the indication. Yeah, ligand is about to come. So its energy will slightly increase. Right? Ligand is still coming. Now, when the ligand comes close to each other, then repulsions are more. Then out of these 5d orbitals, 2d orbitals whose lobes are lying along the axis will increase their energy. And 3d orbitals whose lobes are lying between the axis will face less repulsion and decrease their energy. Correct? So therefore, out of these 5 orbitals, dz square and dx square minus y square will increase their energy because they face more repulsion. They face more repulsion, and dxy, dyz, dzx faces less repulsion because their lobes are lying in between the axis and ligands are coming along the axis. Therefore, their energy decreases. Correct? Right? Yes, Ravi Kiran, correct. Now the question is how much energy is increased and how much energy is decreased. So this level of energy is known as barycenter. This level of energy is known as barycenter. These 3 orbitals are given a name of T2G set of orbitals. T stands for triplet here. T2G set of orbitals, triplet means 3. Eg is the notation given to these orbitals. These are Mulliken term symbols. You cannot directly, there is no meaning of it. They are symbols given to certain symmetry. Right? We derive it. There is a derivation for it. Mulliken term symbols they are. So these 3 orbitals are given the name of T2G set of orbitals. These 2d orbitals are given the name of Eg orbitals. Okay? Name, Mulliken gave these symbols. That's why Mulliken term symbols. Okay? Now what is the energy between T2G and Eg? The energy between these two is delta O. The energy between these two is delta O, where O stands for octahedral. The energy between T2G and Eg orbital is known as delta O, where delta is different, O is octahedral. Now, this is the beauty. You consider this energy to be 0. You consider this energy to be 0. Anything below this is considered negative energy, and anything above this is considered positive energy. Correct? So that means if you fill any electrons here, it decreases the energy, and energy decreases means stability increases. And if you fill any electrons here, it increases the energy of the system. Energy of system increases means stability decreases. Correct? So that is how it is. Now what is these values? So from here to here, right, this total is delta O, right? And there are 5 orbitals, 3 plus 2. So this difference is given by 2 by 5. Opposite, 2 orbitals, so this is 2 by 5. Right? 3 orbitals, so this value is 3 by 5. Right? So this is usually people confuse it. So kya hota hai, how it is this energy has been decreased with respect to these 2 orbitals. That's why it becomes 2 by 5. and their energy is increased with respect to these three orbitals. That's why it is written 3 by 5. Okay, right? T2G and EG is a symbol, KV Chetan. There is nothing to understand there. These are the three orbitals who has been given a name of T2G. These two orbitals are given a name of EG. So KV Chetan, this T2G and EG are just notations. There is no explanation for that. I told these are term symbols where there is a derivation for these, but it is not in your syllabus. Okay? Is that clear, Chetan? So now you can write it in decimals also. This is plus 0.6 delta O. We use generally this only. This is minus 0.4 delta O. Now what is the meaning of it? The meaning of it is one electron which you fill in T2G decrease the energy of the system by how much? Minus 0.4 delta O. One electron which you fill in dz square increases the energy of the system by how much? 0.6 delta O. And if you fill two electrons, one electron increases by 0.6 delta O, another electron also 0.6 delta O, total 1.2 delta O. Right? So the meaning of this is every electron which you fill here decreases the energy of the system by minus 0.4 delta O. And every electron which you will fill here will increase the energy of the system by plus 0.6 delta O. Roshan, barycenter is this origin is given a name of barycenter. There is no definition again. So this center from which energy is increased and decreased, or you can say zero energy value, you are assuming it to be zero energy value, is given a name barycenter. Okay? Could it be understood that total energy of the three orbital is same as that of two orbitals? Yes, Vijay, you can understand it like that also. Now, EG orbit, this I have already explained you. This is called CFT diagram. Now I'll tell you how to fill electrons in this. When will the electron get filled first? Gauri, I'm coming to that. Now this diagram is clear to everyone. Now earlier you were filling all 5d orbitals electrons like this. 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But now it will not be like this. First you will fill here, 3, 4, then whether to fill here or here depends upon many factors. We'll come to this. Now filling of electrons in, so guys, I will not draw the diagram again and again. I will just write T2G and EG. Okay? So filling of d electrons. So let us fill all the configurations. You can either have 3d1, 3d2 or 3d3. Right? So obviously according to Aufbau rule, which will be filled first? T2G or EG? According to Aufbau rule, which will be filled first? T2G or EG? What do you think? Very good. T2G has lower energy, it will be filled first. So let us fill. Now I am going to draw only T2G here. Lower energy, EG higher energy. I am not going to draw the whole diagram. So one electron in T2G. Finished. Very easy. Super easy. Super easy. Now second. Again EG 2. T2G mein you have again how many electrons? 1, 2. Until you don't fill the lower energy orbital, upper will not get filled. Correct? Then again here T2G, EG 1, 2, 3. No problem. This is also fine. So electronic configuration of this will be T2G1, EG0, T2G2, EG0, T2G3, EG0. It is very easy. So easy it is. But what happens if I take D4? If I take 3D4, then the problem arises. Then the game begins actually. Why the game begins now? Why the game begins now? Because 1, 2, 3 is fine. Now fourth electron, shall I send it here or shall I pair it here? That is the challenge you have to think. Correct? So that depends upon lot of factors. No, Pratiksha and Pritesh, we cannot directly say that. So now 1, 2, 3 is fine. Now whether fourth electron goes to Eg or T2G, Eg or T2G depends upon two energies. Depends upon two energies. Right? What are those two energies? No, Chandan. What are those two energies? First is obviously delta O. Second is pairing energy. Right? So what I'm trying to say, if you have 1, 2, 3, if you are pairing the electron here, you can pair the electron if the energy required to pair the electron here is very less. Correct? So if pairing energy is low, then after 1, 2, 3, you can pair the electron here. Correct? And we know the difference between T2G and EG is delta O. If this delta O is very less, if delta O is low, that means T2G and EG are very close to each other. And if they are very close to each other, after 1, 2, 3, fourth electron can easily jump up. Yes or no? So basically it depends upon these two energies. Right? So in short, to tell you, it depends only on delta O. If your delta O is high means T2G and EG के बीच का energy gap is very high. So 1, 2, 3. So the energy gap is very high. Will the electron go up? You have to supply so much energy. No, it will not go up. It will pair down. Right? But if the delta O is low, then what will happen? If your delta O is low, what will happen? T2G is here, EG is here. T2G, EG, very close to each other. Then fourth electron can easily jump up. थोड़ा सा energy दो, jump कर जाएगा. Yes or no? Getting a point. So it depends upon mainly delta O, right? So I will write the summary here. If delta O is very, very, very much larger than pairing energy, since delta O is large, means the energy between T2G and EG is large, so electron cannot go to EG. In that case, electron pair in T2G. Correct? And if delta O is very, very small, then pairing energy, then electron will go to EG. Right? So keep these three things in your mind. Right? I'll share it. Chetna, don't worry, I'll share it. So electron will go to EG. Please keep this thing in mind. Right? Is that clear, everyone? Now, what should be your next question to me? What should be your next question to me then? If delta O and PE are low, both low, कोई तो कम ज्यादा होगा, Abhishek. Something will be less or more. Yes or no? So what should be your next question to me? If the delta E, delta O and pairing energy are equal, then there is an equilibrium between these two. It can go up also, it can pair down also. Okay? So your next question should be, sir, how do we decide whether delta O is low or delta O is high? Correct? So for that, yes, Ganesh. So for that, we have the following cases in our mind, in our syllabus. So first, delta, I will write it as factors affecting delta O. Factors affecting delta O. So first factor is ligand strength. So ligand strength is directly proportional to delta O. More stronger is the ligand, more will be your delta O value. Right? More stronger is the ligand, more will be your delta O value. Right? So you already know this series, the spectrochemical series. Right? So these are considered as strong field ligand, creates more crystal field splitting. These are considered to be weak ligand, they create less crystal field splitting. Right? So more is the splitting, more is delta O value. So obviously your delta O depends upon ligand strength. Now how it happens? See this. Weak ligand means what? It is less attracted by metal. यहाँ पे एक बहुत important चीज है. There is a very important fact here. Repulsion cannot happen without attraction. Repulsion cannot happen without attraction. Why? This is your metal atom. This is your ligand. If the ligand is weak, it will not be attracted by metal atom much. And if it is not attracted, it will not move close to the metal atom enough to cause the splitting. Because once it is attracted close to the metal atom, then only d orbitals will face repulsion and go up and down. So weak ligands are not attracted strongly by the center metal atom, but strong ligands are attracted very strongly by the center metal atom. So the d orbital faces more repulsion, therefore their energy increases more, right? So that is why it is said, for more repulsion to happen, first more attraction should take place. If ligand does not reach the metal atom, how will repulsion take place between the electrons of ligand and metal atom? That is the meaning of it. So that is what we are saying over here. So what we are saying over here is that the ligand, strong ligand, is attracted by center metal atom more, right? I will show it like this. It is more close to the metal atom, and weak ligand is not attracted by the center metal atom more. So since more attraction, it causes more repulsion. So the distance between T2G and EG will be high. So your delta O will be high. Delta O will be high. Is that clear, everyone? I'll give you one example of this. Don't worry. Let me take one example of this. I'll take two examples. First, I am taking cobalt H2O6 2+. Next, I am taking cobalt CO6 2+. Right? Now find the oxidation state of cobalt here. Cobalt, water is a neutral ligand. So cobalt is present as +2. So cobalt is 3d7-4s2. So cobalt +2 will become 3d7. Now I want to fill these 3d7 electrons. So this is your d orbital. Increased energy, d orbitals. Then this is your T2G, this Eg, and this is your T2G. Now 7 electrons we have to fill. Water is a weak ligand. Water is weak field ligand. So water is weak ligand means delta O is low. Delta O is low means this energy gap is low. If it is low, what does it mean? If it is low means delta O is less than pairing energy. That means electron will go to Eg, right? So what you will get here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how you will done. 6, 7. This is how it will be done. Okay? Electron will go to Eg. So this is your delta O. Correct? So this is what you will get. And here also you will get cobalt +2, 3d7. The difference is CO is strong field ligand. That means delta O is more. And if delta O is more, delta O will be greater than pairing energy. So delta O is more means gap between T2G and Eg is high. Electron cannot go to Eg. So electron will pair in T2G. Electron pair in T2G. So your configuration will become, this is your T2G, this is your Eg. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 magnetic moment दोनों का different है. So now you see number of unpaired electron here is 1, 2, 3. 3 unpaired electrons. Magnetic moment 3.89. Number of unpaired electron is 1. This is known as magnetic moment 1.732. Right? Such complex boards में आता है is also known as high spin complex. High spin complex. And these complexes are known as low spin complex. high spin and low spin complex. ठीक है? So high spin and low spin complex. Why? Because here spin is more. 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Total spin is 3 by 2. Here plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cancel. Plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cancel. Plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cancel. Only one spin is left. That is 1 by 2. Spin is less. So low spin. Correct? So now whatever question ka answer you are not getting in VBT, you will get it in CFD. So what all you need to do? You need to draw CFD diagram, write electronic configuration T2EG wala, find unpaired electron, find magnetic moment, high spin, low spin. These things you need to find. Tomorrow we will see how to find CFSE, crystal field stabilizing energy. Do not miss tomorrow's class. This important thing, that means other factors affecting delta O are waiting for you tomorrow. Okay? So that's all. If there is any doubt, guys, you can ask. I have discussed only one factor, that is ligand, and tomorrow I'll discuss more factors affecting delta O. So now we'll go to Kahoot. Why you did 3 there? Where 3, Pritish? Pritish, where 3? Where I did 3, Pritish? Unpaired electron, 3 to hai. There are 3 unpaired electrons, na Pritish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1 unpaired electron is here, 1 unpaired electron is here, 1 unpaired electron is here. 3 unpaired electrons are there, na? Pritish? Yes, Pritish. 3 unpaired electrons, na? You can pair above. Pritish, what are you talking about, man? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 5th electron will prefer lower energy orbital, na? So it will pair here. First you will fill lower energy orbital, then it will go to upper energy orbital. Right? Yes, that's what I am trying to explain, Kishore. So first 1, 2, 3, this is Pauli's rule. Fill all the orbitals singly first, then pairing starts. Right? Chalo, let's start with the Kahoot part. Today's Kahoot is non-academic. Right? So yes, today's Kahoot is non-academic. It's not related to your coordination compounds. It is for general knowledge and for other stuff. All right. So don't miss tomorrow's class, guys. Tomorrow's class is going to be very, very important. If delta O and pairing energy are equal, then both, there will be an equilibrium between high spin and low spin complex, Vijay Kumar. There will be an equilibrium between these two. They will shuffle. You will get both. That, and the point where high spin gets converted into low spin is called crossover point. I'll discuss all that in advanced class, Vijay Kumar. Not here. Yes, so we are starting the quiz now. All of you please log into kahoot.it. I am sharing the screen now. What is S? Are va, Rohit, Ronish? Total spin beta, Ronish. This should have been done in structure of atom. Total spin. You know, spin quantum number plus 1 by 2, plus 1 by 2, plus 1 by 2. Spin quantum number can be plus 1 by 2 or minus 1 by 2. So plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cancel, plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cancel. But here only one electron. So plus 1 by 2, plus 1 by 2, plus 1 by 2. Total spin is 3 by 2. Chalo, let me share it. Yes, Siddharth, I am coming to the game pin only. Yes, you all can see the game pin now. You all can see the game pin now. Quickly join. Join quickly, so that we can start quickly and end quickly. Yes. So guys, quickly join. We'll finish it fast. All right. So see, there are images in the Kahoot. Expand it to view it. Okay. All right. So let me, and again, there are only 2 questions. So remember, whoever answers the first one correct will obviously be the winner. Whoever answers the first one correct will obviously be the winner. So please keep that in your mind. Whoever answers the first one correct will obviously become the winner. There are only 2 questions, right? You might come in top 3, but the one who answers the first one correct and who gets the first rank in the first one, high probability of getting the first one. Chalo, let's start it now. So here comes the first question for you just now. So the first question is coming in front of you. If you add SH ahead of it, it will become Fantush. Which incident happened after this image? There will be an image coming up for you. Zoom it out. See it carefully and tell me which incident happened after this image. This is a quite obvious one. I think I should have got the answer by now. Which incident happened after this? Just to give you a bit hint, there's a 20 seconds for one question. Just to give you a bit hint, many of you have got it correct. I had discussed it in class also once. It was ammonium nitrate ka general inspection which they were doing. Soon after this, Beirut blast happened. So let me give you the next one. Again 20 seconds. Mukta Muni is on the top, man. Very good, Mukta Muni. What is happening to you? So there is high chance that Mukta Muni will win this. Let's see how all of you perform in the next one. Slightly related to history, but a good one. Confusing, but. What was the name of the nuclear bomb dropped on Nagasaki in World War II? The options are Fat Boy, Fat Man, Little Boy, Little Man. This is, you should know this. You should know this. This is something you guys should know. So that's all. I think we are done here. I was knowing most of you will answer it wrong. It was Fat Man. It was Fat Man. It was not Fat Boy. I was knowing most of you will answer Fat Boy. Fat Boy was some Indian space shuttle. Right? If you remember this movie, Mom, Mission of Mars, उसमें Fat Boy का नाम लिया हुआ है. So Fat Man was the name of the bomb. Let us see who is the winner here. I have a strong speculation it is Mukta Muni. Let's see. If he has done the second question wrong, he should be the winner. If he has done that wrong, then no way. Are Narek is in the top 3, man. That's good. Naren, Narek, both of you. And the first one is Adesh. Awesome, Adesh. Mukta Muni, you answered the second one wrong. Otherwise, it was very difficult to beat you. Sakshi and Sanjana, very good. You guys are runner-up. How come Adesh came on top, man? Chalo. That's all from my end, guys. That's all from my end. I wanted to discuss few advanced questions. I will discuss them and end this up. Right? So let's come back. Yeah, we are back. Yes, Karthik, you are right. Super easy. Yes, they were easy. Right. So let us go to. There are very few people left actually. I guess most of you decided that there is no advanced class after this. Okay. I'll give you the homework of the previous questions which I had given you. Bridge bonding ka at least. Let me give you the homework ka answer at least. Just a minute. Let me go back to the advanced class. Yeah. Yes. So here we are. So I think this was the question which I had given you. IUPAC name ke liye. No, not this one. Just a minute. In IUPAC name, I had given you some questions. Somebody was asking the answers for this. Gauri, I think. Yeah, this one it is. This was the question I had given you, right? So you can note down the answers to these two questions. I think Atar next week made 2 classes more. Atar Tuesday ko will finish this chapter, Atar. So you can take down the homework ka answer. 2 complexes, basic beryllium acetate, right? This is the structure of basic beryllium acetate. This is the structure of basic beryllium acetate. Basic beryllium acetate structure is this, right? How did I decide central metal atom of first one? This is easy, no Gauri. The first one may your central metal atom is iron. It is iron only, no Gauri. Yes, Gauri, it is iron. We are starting organic after this, Prashant. So you can start revising GOC. So it will be tomorrow only, Athar. It is getting delayed because of this Kahoot thing. Our syllabus also has to finish. If required, I'll schedule one extra class on Saturday. So this is Gauri. In this central metal atom is your iron only. What else can be? Okay? Gauri, are you there? So iron ke alawa there is no other metal atom here, no? Then you have discussed already this one. This is also done. I wanted to discuss. This one was a question which I gave you as homework. This was also very important question. This is a previous year JEE Mains 2018, I think. This is a very good question. What was the answer to this which you guys have got? Anyone has got the answer to this? Yes, very good, Mohit. The answer to this is, just a minute. The answer to this is the answer to this question is C, 12. No, Naren, it is C, 12. Monisha, it is C. So they go how C. So you should understand, first of all, it is M, A, B, C, D. So M, A, B, C, D, square planar complex. So total GI is 3. Total GI is 3. Then in those 3 GI, SCN is a bidentate ligand. So it will show linkage. So 2 linkage coming from SCN. So these 3 GI will be present sometimes as SCN and 3 GI will be present as NCS. Correct? Then in this NO2 is also a bidentate ligand, ambidentate ligand. So 2 linkage is shown by this also. So then again 3 with nitrogen, NO2 acting as donating lone pair from nitrogen, and in 3 isomers you will be having oxygen donating lone pair from oxygen. Correct? So total you will have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, 12 isomers. Right? Is that clear, Athar? Now you have missed linkage isomers. So total isomers in this case will be 12. Okay? Yes, Pritesh. Is it clear? Chetan, is it clear? This is a very good question. You guys should know it. If there was no ambidentate ligand here, your answer would have been 3. If there was no ambidentate ligand here, your answer would have been 3. Okay? Yes, Pritesh, I know that. So then this is one question which I have kept it here for you. You guys can take a screenshot here. Practice this. We'll discuss its homework tomorrow since it's a time up. I wanted to do this in class today. So consider the following. This is related to isomerism. Consider the following complex and find the answer to this. There are 3 questions here. We'll discuss their answer tomorrow's class. Okay? In case 1, there are 3 or 4 is already considered. In case 1, either case 3 or 4 is considered. I didn't get your point, Adesh. Yes, I'll repeat that, Prashant. Just give me a minute. So this is the homework. You can take a screenshot. Chalo, let me discuss this one now. So Prashant, first of all, there are 3 geometrical isomers. Okay, 3 GI. In 3 GI, sulfur can donate lone pair. Okay? Rest everything is present as NO2. Right? Now, in other one, nitrogen can be, other 3 are possible where nitrogen are donating lone pair. We are considering them exclusive of each other. We are considering them exclusive of each other. Right? So 3 with sulfur donating lone pair, 3 with nitrogen donating lone pair, and 3 with nitrogen donating lone pair, 3 with oxygen donating lone pair. Total isomers will be 12. ठीक है? That is what you will get. Other way में you can explain in this way. There is another way of doing it. Always you can do this. Total GI 3, right? All those 3 will be repeated 2 times. 3 with SCN, 3 with NCN. Then again these 6 will repeated with the NO2 and ONO. So again you will get 12. This is another way of doing it. Yes, Pritish. I have already explained, Pritish, but still I will explain. Prashant, is it clear now? So you can draw it also. If you want, I can draw all the 12 isomers also. You can draw them. First में, sorry, just a minute. Yes, you can draw it like this. SCN, right? SCN के साथ you have NO2, you have NH3, you have fluorine. So keeping SCN constant, you rotate other 3. You'll get 3 GI. Then instead of SCN, you keep NCS, right? With NCS, you rotate these 3. Keeping NCS constant, you'll get 3 isomers again. Then you have considered NO2, right? Now you have considered NO2. NO2 with SCN, rotate 3 times, you'll get 3. फिर ONO के साथ, keep ONO fixed, rotate another time, you'll get 3. So you'll get total 12 isomers. ठीक है? Is that clear, Prashant? Now you can draw it, Prashant, but the 12 isomer to draw it will take lot of time. मतलब हर linkage के साथ वो double हो जाएगा in short. ठीक है? Yes, Pritish. What's your doubt, Pritish? Pritish, what's your doubt? I hope you guys have taken the homework. Yes, Pritish. What is your doubt? Can you tell me? I had a doubt that you didn't, that you told you will tell during CFT. Can you tell that doubt now, Adesh? By Ankita. Ankita, message me. I think I haven't spoken to you quite a long. Just message me, Ankita. Night mein. So filling to easy hai na, Pritesh. If your ligand is weak, delta O is low, T2G and EG mein gap is less. So after filling 3 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then next electron will come back 6, 7, right? But if your delta O is more means what? Delta O is more means what? Electron will, this gap is more. T2G and EG ka gap is more. So gap is more means electron will fill like this. 1, 2, 3, 4th electron will not go up. It will pair here only. 5, 6, 6 are filled. Now 7th electron will go up. That's all. Is that clear, Pritesh? By Hari Prakash and Shiv Prakash. By PK. When there is a back pairing of electron, why does electron go to 3D? By Mohit and Pritesh. Arish, I'll answer it tomorrow. Adesh, I'll answer it tomorrow, though I'm still thinking about what's the doubt exactly is. Just let me check it. When there is back pairing of electron, why does electron go to 3D? Acha, got it. Pradesh, I'll answer it tomorrow. Whether you should have got the answer now, because you are considering ions. 3D electrons का crystal splitting होता है, 4s का नहीं होता है ना? So because 4s is the outermost shell, देन 3d, तो 4s के बाद 3d में इलेक्ट्रॉन आएगा बैक पेयर होके. दैट इज अंडरस्टूड बट स्टिल. चलो, दैट्स ऑल गाइस. आई हैव टेकन लॉट ऑफ योर टाइम. प्लीज टेक केयर. हैव अ गुड डे अहेड. मे गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल. बाय आदेश.